Muitas autoridades internacionais estão presentes aqui na APA. Agora eu converso com Afke Mulder, que é da Embaixada da Holanda aqui no Brasil.
Porto 360. Patrocínio. T2S Tecnologia. Brasil Terminal Portuário. Apoio. Apoio institucional. Realização Grupo Tribuna.
Afke, thank you so much to be here with us. It's a big pleasure having you here at the Porto 360 interview.
Thank you, Maxwell. It's a great pleasure to be here. Of course, as the Netherlands and Brazil, we're all talking ports and maritime, so
Sure.
it's great to be here. Thank you.
I know that you bring a big, group of Netherlands to Brazil, to bring many executives, and guys to be here to work with our port community.
Yes, so we're very happy to be here with a big delegation of Dutch
Sure.
companies. As the Netherlands, we really believe in a cluster approach. So we're always working towards better solutions. We're working with the public sector, the private sector, and the knowledge institutes, which we're calling the Golden Triangle.
Yeah.
And we're trying to be here as a cluster as well. So we have a big group of companies with several specialties, but they're also trying to work together as a cluster, and of course with Brazil, to work on solutions together
Sure.
and do business together.
We did the same this year. We were in Rotterdam with a big Brazil delegation, to check and see all solutions that Dutch people is doing to the port sector, and honestly, I believe that Rotterdam, it's a Disneyland of ports, because you can see many solutions. You can see the best logistics that you can check in the world. But one point, I always looking for technology, and I know that Rotterdam and especially Holland, they provide technology for all of the world. All of these executives that you bring to Brazil, they are looking for new technologies at the Brazil port as well.
Of course, and I'm very glad to hear that you're so enthusiastic about Rotterdam, because of course we're very proud of our maritime cluster in and around Rotterdam.
And I use this term, and everybody say, Maxwell, you're right. Rotterdam is the Disneyland of ports.
We're very proud of our reputation there in Rotterdam, of course. But I think you're right. We're in an era of change, right? And that
Sure.
holds for the port and maritime sector especially. And one of the biggest challenges, I think, is sustainability. So we're all in this energy transition, which will for a part also take place in and around the ports. So to be able to do that together, we need, first of all, both the public and the private sector. But what we also need most of all is new technologies. We need innovation, digitalization, and new sustainable solutions. So I'm very proud also that this cooperation that we're having is really focused on these kind of things. It's about bringing new solutions, innovation, knowledge together from the Brazilian and the Dutch side, because we have all kinds of things to learn from each other.
Sure.
And that's always the crucial thing in a partnership, right? You have to be able to learn from each other, and we do have that. So I'm very proud, and I'm seeing that happening here at the AAPA Latino is of course the perfect place to make this happen.
Look, I have one thing that always I'm looking to improve and help to improve business, because at the end we have to do business, especially here in Brazil and with the world. When we are working at the port sector, we have international business, how, especially your country is looking to do business with our country.
So first of all, of course, we look up at where our opportunities meet, and in the ports and logistics sector, we have a very natural connection, right?
Sure.
Brazil lives with the water and the biggest coastal line, one of the biggest coastal lines in the world. We live with our country, half of the country is under the sea level, and we have been living with water and ports forever, as the Dutch. So we have a natural connection there, and then also we're of course doing business in many other sectors like the agro and agri-tech. So you have to have a natural parceria, I would like to say, but that's
Sure.
Portuguese.
Partnership.
A natural partnership, and I think in the port and maritime we do have that, and that's important because there we can learn from each other and we have a shared interest, and that's always a precondition to do business, right? And then we can help each other in. I think it's all about interconnectivity. It's
Sure.
a global world. We have to do business together, but of course we have all our specificities. And I noticed that here, the group of companies that we are having here are really looking for Brazilian partners as well, who know the country and know which
The
solutions
culture.
will work and will not work.
Yeah, the
And
culture
will
and
play
the
around
rules too,
in
you know.
Brazil. We know
Yeah.
Rotterdam,
Yeah.
and we know we can help
Exactly.
our Brazilian partners to find their way there. So I do think there's a cultural and a local component that's very
Sure. Important to the business.
in our international
Sure.
business. So I'm really hoping that this week will help us get further in that.
Thank you so much to be here with us. I hope one day we can have a meeting in Brasilia, because I know that you are in Brasilia, and we can show your work in our capital too. Uma das grandes preocupações aqui na APA são questões relacionadas ao clima e transição de energia. Para isso, vou conversar com a Techla Bodewes, que é especialista no tema. Techla, thank you so much to be here with us. That's a big pleasure for me having you like a specialist at the theme that I think it's really important for our sector.
Yes, thank you thank you for inviting me, Maxwell. And I think it's not only for our sector, it's for the whole world.
You're right. You're right. Let me start with one curious point, you know. At the past, we have a green seal, you know, in our suit, for example, or in our clothes. And it was a big proud, like, I'm green, you know, and it means that you are at the game, things like that. But now I believe that all of the people in the world, they have a lot of concerns with the weather, you know, and the weather are affecting the business and especially the port sector, you know. Do you believe that we are in the right way, you know, to do the energy transition, or we have to do a lot of things and learn things to put our vessel in a right way? Do you understand what I mean?
Yes, I understand what you mean. No, you're completely right. I think we can do a lot more. But what is very important is also that we need to learn our children and the people around us that we cannot consume as we do at this moment. So
Sure.
we need to live with less. If you see here in Brazil, you have bad isolated hotels with a lot of air conditioning. I think that's the other way around. We consume too much. Our children, they have dresses, maybe every month a new dress or a new
Yeah.
shirt or something like
You're
that.
right.
And because it's so cheap for all the plastic games coming from China or wherever it comes from, I think that's also a good start. So we really need to look at ourselves, what we consume.
Sure.
I think everybody can consume less. And we can, now we go on holidays far away, but it's also nice to go to your own country. And then, because what I really like being green is that in the past, it's true, you say you were really wearing something and then everybody
Yeah.
saw, but then you were a little bit also alone. So now, green is also, or sustainable is also a must, is also sexy, is also a brand,
Yeah,
and I think that's good.
it is.
Because people want to you need to make money with it. And if you can do it that way, we saw it with Tesla. It's a super fancy car, everybody wants to have it. But it's good, it's a good start.
Yes, of course.
And I think that's really good to get everybody involved in the transition. And I think if you see here in Brazil, we in Europe are jealous on countries as Brazil. You have hydro energy, you have ethanol.
Yeah.
But still, you don't use it as you can use it.
That's curious, isn't
It's
it?
curious. You have your inland waterways and your trucks are running from south to north, and you have a railways stations. You can use everything. So what we always say is also, if you transport, look what the emission is per ton.
It's the big legacy that our generation, will leave for the next generation. We will start the process, we will start change our minds, and we will start do new education for the next generation, to put the world, the business in a right way.
That's it, and it's also what we found out in the Netherlands, and maybe it's stupid, but if you see in the maritime sector, that all the publicity is done by technical people, and they are not the best communicators.
Yeah.
So maybe now we use the creative industry to help us forward, just to explain it to our politicians, to explain it to the rest of the Netherlands and the rest of Europe, because we need to do it together. We can not only do it in the Netherlands, not only in Europe, we need to do it together.
You're right. If we don't push, nobody will do nothing.
Yes.
Nothing will be happening. Thank you so much to be here with us. I'm so glad, that do an interview with a specialist like you.
Thank you, Maxwell. Yes, it's my pleasure.
A gente continua por aqui. Eu vou conversar agora com Chris Connor, que sabe tudo a respeito dos portos lá da América. Chris, thank you so much to be here with us. That's a big pleasure for me and for all of audience that we have.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Chris, to start our conversation, what's your impression about Santos Port, and the AAPA event that we are now?
So let's start with Santos Port. I mean,
Yeah.
what's cool about it is every cargo sector imaginable is represented here, and it was interesting. Yesterday, I had a chance to go on a tour on a big catamaran with about 70 people and port executives from other places in Latin America, and I think I could see in their eyes,
How big we are.
the scale and the mix of
Yeah.
cargo types, and they realize that there's experiences here in Santos that they can leverage for their own opportunities in their own countries, wherever they may be. And I think that's the strength of AAPA, is that you bring people together and they can share experiences with one another. And I like to say you shouldn't feel alone. You don't have to start from scratch, because someone else has already made some mistakes that
Right.
you can learn from. So, but this event, pretty amazing. Nearly 700 attendees, a full exhibition floor, which we talked about before. You and I both need to get out there. And see the sports.
You're right.
Really cool technologies represented. I think even though we're in a little bit of a downturn after kind of a boom period,
Sure.
I think people realize that in the long term, trade is going to continue to grow. Maybe not as significantly as it did, during the pandemic, but this is an important space, and people need to continue to invest in it.
We had a lot of panels here, and they are discussing a lot of topics, at the port sector, of course, and the maritime sector as well. But I saw two topics that got my attention, the energy transition and technology. This is the new way that we have to put our vessel, we have to look for energy transition and technology.
I mean, we need to be leaning forward into the challenges that are still to come.
Of course.
So the energy transition is a huge one. Um, I don't know if you heard the gentleman who came in virtually this morning from
I heard.
UNCTAD, but he was saying that the investment community, it's poison. The uncertainty is poison, and I look for who are
They use this word, poison. You know.
I understand, because you don't want to bet the farm on a certain type of a solution for, let's say, propulsion of vessels
Sure.
in the future, if that's not going to be the one. So what I wonder, and maybe you have some sense of this, so now I'll ask you the question. I mean, who are the adults in the room that kind of have that picture painted of what the future energy sources look like? Because everyone wants to get away from fossil fuels. Totally understand that. Sort of think we shouldn't give up on fossil fuels until we're certain about the other solutions. But what are those, and to what percentage will hydrogen be the solution, LNG be the solution, et cetera, et cetera? That picture is unclear to me, and I think that's a little bit of the poison that the guy from UNCTAD was referring to.
Yeah, and I agree 1000% with you again, because especially, we have a big gap, and we have to decide, what kind of energy we are looking for, because the energy that we are using today affecting the business and the weather. Am I right? If the people, and especially the company, don't look to the new business model, they will be out of the game.
Yeah, I think you're sort of talking about ESG, right?
Exactly.
So
Could be.
yeah, I certainly would not feel comfortable with someone who's not who has their head in the sand and is not willing to get engaged on what the future is all about. There's some cynicism out there on ESG matters,
Sure.
But I don't think you can fake it. You're either all in on it and you do the responsible things and you behave the right way, or I think you're a difficult partner, or maybe you're not the preferred choice for a partner. And we all need to partner with people with companies in different ways, shapes, and forms. And that would be a very awkward alliance if someone doesn't embrace and isn't willing to commit to the next generation.
Sure.
Which I think ESG is in part largely about.
Can I tell that ESG will be the big legacy of our generation?
That's a good one.
6 million question?
Yeah, I mean, I hope 20 years from now, when we're having is it Caparina?
Yeah, Caipirinha.
Maybe together somewhere, we can look back and say, that moment.
Yeah.
In 2022 is when, the industry really got serious about it and started to take all the steps. Honestly, I think it will take that long. I don't think this is an overnight
Me too.
Solution. I think we need to be very strategic and methodical, but get after it. And I would rather that approach than a very ideological approach where you keep talking about the way you want it to be, but without taking the steps to get you there.
Yeah. But to do something in your life, first of all, you have to start. And I believe that this is the way that we are doing now. We are starting, things to leave for the next generation. And I hope we can do that.
And in our business, the customer, the end customer, the user of the transport system, cargo owners who pay the freight for the ocean carrier, and the ocean carrier pays the terminal operator, and so on and so forth. I think if the cargo owners who are responsible companies and embrace ESG, if they say, if you want to be a partner in my supply chain, you need to have similar ambitions and goals and take the steps necessary, I think the pace of change will come quicker.
The rules is changing, and if you want to be at the game, you have to follow the new rules. My friend, thank you so much to be here with us. I hope we can talk 20 years from now, and
Let's give it a shot.
Yeah,
you're younger than I am, so I'll still be around.
We can do it probably without the caipirinha. Okay, I prefer wine at Napa Valley.
Honestly, so do I. You got to
Oh, deal. Thank
a
you
lot.
so much.
Appreciate it.
A gente continua por aqui, sempre um bom papo com especialistas e executivos internacionais. Olá, está no ar Porto 360. Esta semana saímos dos estúdios do Grupo Tribuna e viemos diretamente para o 15º Encontro Latino-Americano de Portos. E você, é claro, é meu convidado para conferir tudo o que está acontecendo